Hello, everybody. My name is Trevantis, and this is Rimworld. Rimworld is an awesome game that has a lot of micromanaging in a post-apocalyptic planet, I guess, and I'm quite good at it, I think. I play on the hardest difficulty, and I have finished the game on this difficulty. And what I learned from this game is that it takes hours and hours and hours of practice to even get remotely good at it. And fortunately for you guys, I'm going to give you some tips and tricks on the game itself. And for new players coming in, this will be fine as well. If you're just learning how to play the game, this will help also. So right at the home screen, we're obviously going to do a new colony because I'm not going to load up my other save. But this is your menu of what you want to start out as. So you can either start with 3 people with some gear and science that is like modern. You can either so that's 3 people, yeah. The Lost Tribe, which is 5 tribesmen they don't start with electricity or anything like that, and they have different starting researches, so you can make like pemmican or whatever. I haven't done a lot with the tribe. I don't think they're very good. The Rich Explorer, they say it's extra difficult. That's a lie. It is, in my opinion, easier than Lost Tribe because you start with a very high research and gun turrets, which you get from being a Rich Explorer. Gun turrets are great. Although having 3 people is really important in the beginning. But the Rich Explorer gets a lot more resources. So we're going to start with the 3 crash-landed survivors. It's the easiest to do as a new player. And I think it's the most fun. So we're going to go next. And now we're going to start with our storyteller. So there's 3 storytellers you can choose from. There is Classic Cassandra, who the game just steadily gets an increased curve of difficulty, or so they say. It's really not. It's a steady increase of the threat level, and we'll get to that later. Phoebe, who they make her out to be this like easy peasy AI who, you could sit back, relax, and do whatever the hell you want. That is not the case at all. In this game, there are 2 kinds of events. There's the ones that benefit you and the ones that don't. And what Phoebe does is between events and like disasters and all that, it takes a lot of time between events. So in the later stages of the game, you actually want some threats to happen so that you can take the resources. And if you're playing as Phoebe, that doesn't come to you as often, which can be a problem. But in the beginning, it can serve you pretty well. So Phoebe is sort of an early game AI, and late game, it'll fall off and it'll be a little harder for you. Then there's Randy Random, where there is no... they make him also out to be like, oh yeah, this is Randy, he'll throw random shit at you all the time because he's so edgy or whatever. All he does, it's not that there's no breaks between events, but it's random. Like, sometimes you can have 3 events that happen back to back, and then you'll wait like a couple months and nothing will happen. That's just how his AI works. And in my opinion also, none of these are... I mean, Randy's kind of hard, but none of these are like ridiculously harder than the other. So we're going to start with Classic Cassandra. We'll make it, simple enough. And we're going to extreme and permadeath. All right. Seed, I'm not going to pre-seed it, but we'll see what we get in the world generation. An important thing in the world generation screen is... Oh my goodness. Alright, so you get to choose your starting location. Now, like, we're going to be playing this game for hours. Like, my last run took 18 hours to beat. This map, like, it doesn't... I don't want to scum it, but it doesn't look fun. So we're going to reroll the map. And it's good when you have a lot of factions that differ, because there's a lot of weird politic things that could happen. And it just seemed like there was a lot of tribes people, and like I think there was like 2 or 3 factions. All right, this is better. So what we have here, these are like these tents. Oh yeah, these icons that look like tents. They are tribes people, and obviously their technology is a lot different than some modern civilizations, such as like this one or this one. And this can benefit in different ways, and depending on the situation you're in, sometimes you want some tribes people to be by you, and sometimes you want someone with more technology, and that's just how the game is. Having your base located as close to a civilization as you can be is very important, at least for the way I'm going to be teaching you how to play, because eventually you can start trading once you get to a certain point in the game. So we're going to start... oh, cruddy crap. This is... The very spread out is the hard part. Alright, we're going to start somewhere around here. Now, so when you click on a tile, you can check the terrain and see, let's say for example, so it's got a dirt path, so that's good. It increases your caravan's movement speed when you're on the dirt path. And alright, this seems alright. What we also want to do is go to advanced and make our cells ludicrous. And they say performance will decrease. Sometimes that happens, sometimes it doesn't. You just can't go crazy with making multiple colonies. With ludicrous tiles, at least. Ludicrous tiles are very important because you want your tile to have as much resources on it as possible. And by having 160,000 cells, it'll have more resources, obviously. And it's harder for enemies to escape you while they're fleeing if your cells are huge. So now, I think, let's see the factions here. Yeah, so more than half of these factions are hostile towards me. That's going to be fun. But here we go. Alright, so now we get to the characters. So I have... In a perfect world, you would just randomize your characters until you had the perfect setup. And I kind of feel cheaty doing that, so I'm not going to be doing that. But I have a rule of thumb. Each character gets 1 free reroll. Because sometimes you'll have guys that are addicted to like Luciferium or whatever, that your character is instantly dead if you don't take Luciferium over and over again. So this character is okay. It's not bad. These scars are kind of a problem. Having your leg and arm be hurt is a problem in the long run. Chemical interest, that is a huge problem though as a trait. So when she is stressed, she's gonna pig out on drugs if they're available. But sanguine makes sure she's happy like all the time. We'll check out the other characters. All right. So bionic parts that are being unethical, that doesn't come up often. What does come up often though is having shooting and melee disabled. If you're incapable of violence, you can't fight or hunt. So she's probably going to get rerolled. This guy is a pyromaniac. Oh man, these guys suck. Alright, so she's going to get rerolled. Okay. So oh man, creepy breathing though. So he's good at social. Having a character with a social stat is key. The social stat is what determines how you get prisoners to join your colony. And that's probably the biggest recruiting process in your colony for this kind of run. Sometimes people can just join by wandering in, or sometimes you rescue someone and they join. But mainly when you get attacked by a raid and they have survivors, you imprison them and then you recruit them. So you'll get like 1 or 2 like potential recruitments per raid. He's also alright, but I think, let's see. I'd like to have a warden with social, so he's good, and a doctor. We don't have a doctor. So I think I'm going to give, I think this guy is a reroll. Hopefully he's a doctor. Oh my god. Okay, well he's a doctor, but he's lazy and has asthma. So, oh, okay. Okay. So I'm also going to change their names to something I can remember more and pronounce for now. So his nickname's now going to be Chris. Elias, that's fine. Fine, your name's Minnie. And we are going to start. Okay, doke. Oh, man. Yeah, this starting at least seems a bit iffy. The colonists, sometimes you just get screwed over by RNG with the colonists, but sometimes you get really lucky. My last run, I had a character with like almost 10 in every stat, and it was amazing. But, so, what I'm doing in the beginning right now is there's a bunch of things that dropped from the space pods. And if they have this little X, this little red X, that means colonists will not take it on their own without being forced. So, you want to click on one, and with F, we unforbid it. And if you double click, it highlights all of the same kind in your area. So I'm going to take all of these items and make sure they are accessible to my colonists. And there's a couple of items strewn across the map that was straggled behind, but eventually I'll just find them. We got a really bad starting animal. Usually the starting animal is more of a liability than anything. If this animal dies, whoever is like the owner will get extremely upset for a unrealistic amount of time, for like over a year. Alright, so Minnie, who I believe the doctor owns this dog, and Minnie will be very upset. So in the beginning, we have a bunch of tabs down here. The Architect tab is how we basically play the game. So we are going to make some wooden walls, and we're going to make them some rooms. Unfortunately, there's a lot of water, so we can't build everywhere that I'd like. But I'd like to build near... Oh man. I'd like to build near some steel. Yeah, so this is a pocket of steel. And also next to it, this big rectangle is an ancient danger, which we'll get to later. But as a new player, never break open ancient dangers until you're ready and know what they do. We'll get to that much later, though. So we are going to drag to make some rooms. It's about a decent size. I don't think they'll get upset from that. I'll fill that gap soon. Alright. So, wood, door, door, door. So now, new players must be wondering, well, what colonists will do what? What if I don't want him to be constructing, or what if I want him to be chopping wood or whatever? So that's when we get to the work tab. So always check manual priorities. So this is what everyone's job in the colony is. by having manual priorities, you can tell them to do certain things and that will overlap other things. So we want them to be firefighting always. If there is a fire, everyone will drop what they're doing, or they're supposed to be dropping what they're doing to take care of the fire. Because, like, that's more important than cutting wood if your building is on fire. As a doctor, we only want Mini to be doctoring, because if people are untrained doctors, they're going to make the wounds probably worse than they could be. And they won't make it worse, but if you tend to a wound, a real doctor can't re-tend it, which is it's a bit ridiculous. Flicking will never come up, so we're going to put that at 4 just so it's physically possible for them to do it. And wardening, you also only want one warden. This is the character that will talk to your prisoners. So you want them to be the only one talking to the prisoners, so the prisoners don't get strewn between 2 wardens and to be split between 2 wardens. We'll also get to this when it comes up. Handling will almost never come up unless you have someone with a very high handling skill. Mini apparently has our highest handling skill because it has the box is highlighted the most. A handling skill of 7. That's not bad, but it's not enough for Mini to stop what she's doing for the colony to tend to some animals. Cooking. This is pretty important. The higher your cook skill is, the lower the chance of getting food poisoning when you cook food. So at least you're going to have cooking as that's your job in the colony. But actually for now, we don't have food to cook, so we're going to uncheck that. Hunting is very self-explanatory. If you have a gun in your hands, you can shoot animals, and if you assign the animals to be killed, they'll try to kill the animals. Constructing, since we have no buildings, everyone's job right now is to be constructing. So now that So now that everyone has constructing at their first priority, all of these buildings that want to be constructed will now be constructed by these 3. That's what their job is going to be. Growing, though, do we have someone with good growing skills? 6, that's not bad, and 6. So that's really good that we have 2 people who can do this. So, the grow zone is what you do in the zone/area tab. This grow zone, when you drag it, like so, will now have a plant attached to it that you can assign. So, if you want people to plant, potatoes, this is what it's assigned to. In this one area, if someone is assigned growing, they will plant potatoes in this area. You don't need to gather seeds or anything like that. They'll just put potato seeds in the ground automatically. But we don't want potatoes in there just yet. We want smoke leaf plants. What smoke leaf plant is basically marijuana. And smoke leaf is very versatile in this game. What you can do with it is sell it for an absurd amount of money to the neighboring colonies that we put our colony next to. And you can make your colonists happier if they're being really upset and really annoying. That will also get to mood in the near future. So, there's more jobs. I'm going to get to those right now. So mining is very self-explanatory. I'm going to, if I want this steel to be mined, I'm going to go to Architect, Orders, Mine, and I'm going to highlight this big area. So now, just like construction, if their first priority is mining, they will try to mine this area. This is the research bench. We'll get to that also. But for now, I'm going to cancel this because I don't want them mining just yet. Plant cutting. It's the same exact thing as the mining. I could highlight a bunch of trees with the order, and they will cut trees. Smithing, that is a very late game thing that we'll get to. Same with tailoring. Art, I barely use art. Crafting, we'll get to later. Hauling. Hauling is, for example, if I have a bunch of items over here, and I say, hey, that's not where they're supposed to go. They're actually supposed to go in this stockpile. Sorry. This stockpile is where all of our items will go. And I go to storage, and I can assign what items go in each storage pile. So whenever they get a chance, since these items are not in a stockpile, they will haul them to the nearest stockpile with the appropriate storage in it. So if I have this bolt-action rifle, if I say bolt-action rifles go in this stockpile zone, they'll try to haul that gun to here. We also have cleaning. Your colonists will go around cleaning dirt, blood, vomit, whatever is on the ground at the home area. And research is once you have a research bench, you can start researching different technologies, and that's how you basically win the game, by getting off the planet, by building a ship. So those are all of the starting, jobs. So now we're going to go to the restriction tab. This is their schedule, just like a work schedule. So I usually make everyone have 5 hours of joy after their work. So this means they're going to be joyful, or they're going to try to be joyful during hours 17 through 21. And now through 6 to 16, they will be working. So now it's hour 6 right now. So it is now work time. So whatever their job is assigned, they will do their job. So as soon as I unpause this, they will all rush to try to get these walls done. But for now, we're going to want them to equip some weapons in case shit hits the fan. Unfortunately, all of their shooting skills are horrible. So if we get attacked now, they're going to miss a lot. And we don't want that. We also don't want our doctor to be in some danger. So we're going to give the doctor a bolt-action rifle. We're going to give even though the doctor has a really high melee stat, we don't want her to get that close, because if she gets hurt, no one's there to tend to her efficiently. Elise is going to take this knife, and Chris will take the pistol. So now we're going to fast forward with with the tab here. And now they're ready to work. So now they're grabbing some wood, and they're going to bring it to the work area. And basically, we just let them work. But they're going to get to a point where they don't have enough wood to make all that. So we're going to have to assign someone to cut some nearby trees. So we're going to go to this work and plant cut. So we're going to let Minnie be the plant cutter, and we're going to assign construction to priority 2. So as soon as she's done cutting trees, she'll go right to constructing the base. So we're going to go to orders, chop wood. I'm going to highlight just a big chunk of forest right there. So now Minnie is going to be cutting some pine trees now. I don't know where you're going though. Unless you are... you're assigned growing? I don't know why you're doing that. It's probably something little I missed. Let's see if you keep continuing to cut trees. There you go. Alright, you're back on track. Alright, Elise is doing her job too. And so is Chris. So now that I have a little bit of time, I'm actually going to pause this real fast. And I'm going to speak a little bit about the mood of characters. So the mood of characters is... you have the physical threat and the emotional threat of every colonist. So right here, they have their needs. And they have their food, rest, joy, and so on. uh, right here, this is what makes them happy or sad. So right now, Elise, for example, has the sanguine trait. So you always get plus 12 to your mood, which is, in my opinion, is the best trait in the game. Very low expectations is also great right now for what we have going on, because we don't have a big base, so they're not expecting a lot. And then there's a few other things that I can't really avoid right now. But eventually, this bar down here will decrease. So right now she is at a neutral mood, which is fine. Being anything below neutral, it starts to get not fine. Once they start getting stressed, they'll have a mental breakdown and will stop working. And that's a problem. I also can't control them while they're in a mental breakdown. So Minnie is consuming... Alright, so they eat not scheduled. So they'll eat whenever they're hungry, which is, it's fine. Like, they need to eat. And do they have the wall? The walls are almost done. But we also need to build them some beds, because if they sleep on the ground, they get very upset. Okay, I think they are going to finish these bedrooms by tonight. No, maybe not. If I wanted to, I could force them to work through their... Alright, so this is... Oh, I'm sorry. This is an ancient danger. So since Elise brushed up against this wall, an ancient danger text appears. So as Elise draws near the ancient wall, a sense of foreboding overcomes her. She isn't sure why, but she feels a dusty structure may contain great danger. Inside these walls, if you break them open, there is a lot of treasure, I'll tell you that. But there's also a lot of monsters. Monsters that right now we are not capable of defeating. And even if we tried, they would hurt us a lot. And we need this beginning momentum to go on. And just by getting shot once right now would be a problem, because that person would have to rest, and then that person isn't working. And with 3 people, if you're having one of your people not working, that's 33% of your entire colony not working. That's a huge deal. So they didn't finish these beds, which kind of sucks. But I don't want to take them away from their joy time in the beginning, because they kind of need it to get the ball rolling. So we're going to check on Elise's mood. So right now, she... Actually, wait. It'll be in a couple seconds. She's going to be upset that she slept on the ground. And yes, she slept outside and in the cold on the ground. So in total, that's minus 12 just from not having a room. So as you can see, it's very important that Elise, and everyone, is sleeping in a bed inside. But she has low expectations because we're new. And so it's really not a big deal right now. She's getting hungry though, so she needs food. Apparently, they starve themselves to death when they sleep. I don't know why they just don't go up for a midnight snack, but whatever. And I think this is when they're gonna finish the rooms. Yeah. Okay. Yep. So what they did right there is when a place like this is completely surrounded by walls and whatnot, they will then basically say, alright, this is a room now. So I'm going to click this tab, and now if I hover over this says it's Chris's bedroom, and it says all the stats of it. It's not a good bedroom, I'll tell you that. And the reason it's a bedroom is because it has walls, it's enclosed, and it has a roof. So as long as it's enclosed, the colonists will automatically put roofs on it. So you don't have to hassle to construct roofs manually. Having a roof over it means sunlight doesn't get in, so it is dark. And the colonists don't like being in total darkness all the time. So now, after we finish that little thing there, we are now going to light up the room a bit. So we're going to go to the furniture tab, which we're already in. We're going to go to some torch lamps. And we're going to put a torch lamp in the corner of their rooms. And now, we are going to do that. Now, the room, it's still a pretty bad room, but it's fine. Normally, we would be putting floors, putting some wood floors on, but for now, we don't need floors. Their rooms, as long as they're inside and in a bed, it'll suffice. And eventually, these trees will die anyway without proper sunlight and care. But for now, I'm going to leave this episode here. The beginning of Rimworld is a little bit slow, but when you start getting into it and you start building up your colony, you have more people and technology, it gets a lot of fun to deal with problems. And a lot of funny shit could happen when your colonists are just being stupid as hell. But thank you for watching, and stay tuned for next episode.